before there was light, before there was time, we are told there was nothing. Then, in an instant, everything. But what if that story is incomplete? What if the universe never began at all? Imagine the night sky not as a frozen memory of a single creation, but as an endless ocean, waves of galaxies rising and falling without a first tide. Every star you see, every photon that brushes your eye, could be part of a cycle with no origin, a rhythm older than time itself. Picture holding a book so vast you could turn pages forever, yet never find the first chapter. This is the unsettling beauty of the eternal cosmos theory, a vision of reality where before loses meaning, where matter and energy have always been, endlessly transforming, endlessly alive. If this is true, the Big Bang was not a beginning, merely one bright spark in an infinite chain of cosmic events. Join me as we step into a universe without a dawn, where the question is not how it all started, but whether it ever did. Beneath the velvet canopy of night, we are taught to see the stars as ancient. But ancient compared to what? The story we've been told begins with a single, blinding instant, the Big Bang, when the cosmos leapt from nothing into everything. Yet what if there was no such instant? What if the universe had no opening act, no first breath, no dawn? What if it has always been here, infinite, unbroken, without a starting point? Imagine a clock with no hands, ticking forever without striking midnight. The galaxies above us, drifting and colliding, would not be young or old in any absolute sense. They would simply be, just as they have always been. The great arcs of light from distant clusters would not be snapshots of a past that began, but fragments of an endless tapestry woven across a loom that has never stopped turning. Such an idea is more than a challenge to physics. It bends our sense of time until it slips from our grasp, as if the universe itself were a book with no first page. We can open it anywhere, read the words, feel the weight of its stories, but no matter how far we turn back, there is no beginning to find, only more chapters stretching endlessly into a past without origin. To place this vision into perspective, we must step far beyond our familiar scale. Our lives unfold in decades, our civilizations in centuries, our species in mere hundreds of thousands of years. But the cosmos, if eternal, is measured in a language we can scarcely speak. Not billions, but an infinity of billions, where even the birth and death of stars are as fleeting as sparks in a fire that has always burned. In such a realm, time loses its anchor, becoming not a line with a start and an end, but a vast, unbroken horizon. Here, galaxies are not milestones marking an age since creation, but ever-shifting patterns in a cosmic dance that never began and will never conclude. Every explosion of a supernova, every swirl of a spiral arm, is simply another step in a choreography without a first beat. In this view, our own Milky Way is neither young nor old. It is just one eddy in an eternal current, flowing endlessly through the ocean of existence. This perspective demands that we reimagine the cosmos not as a story that began, but as an eternal stage where scenes endlessly unfold. There is no "before the curtain rose," because the curtain was never drawn. What we call now is just one frame in an infinite reel, a fleeting arrangement of matter and energy, destined to dissolve and reform countless times in ways we may never witness. If the universe truly has no beginning, the familiar tale of the Big Bang becomes just one chapter in a much larger, stranger epic. Our moment of origin, the flash of space-time expansion 13.8 billion years ago, might not have been the start of everything, but rather a local event, one ripple among countless others in an endless sea. In this telling, our observable cosmos is like a bubble in a vast cosmic foam, forming, expanding, and perhaps one day fading, while others have existed long before and will exist long after. The laws of physics, unchanging and silent, would be the threads holding this eternal fabric together. Gravity, quantum fields, the very constants that shape reality. They would not be relics of a first moment, but eternal players in an infinite game. Matter would recycle endlessly, passing through stars, planets, black holes, and nebulae, over and over, each time reshaping the architecture of creation. The atoms in your body might have been part of countless other worlds, drifting through the universe long before Earth ever formed. And in this endless cycle, there is no need to ask what came before, because before and after lose meaning. Time becomes less like an arrow and more like a wheel, each rotation birthing familiar patterns, yet never truly beginning or ending. In the eternal cosmos, the question is not, how did it all start, but how far back can we remember? And the answer, perhaps, is that memory itself is the only limit. Beneath the surface of this idea lie hidden mechanics, forces and processes that, if eternal, have been sculpting reality forever. The expansion of space, the bending of light by gravity, the dance of particles in the quantum realm, these would not be transient acts, but ceaseless motions without a first impulse. The universe would be like a river whose current has always flowed, reshaping the landscape endlessly, yet with no mountain spring to trace it back to. In such a reality, the Big Bang is not the first explosion, but one of many cosmic seasons. Just as winter yields to spring, a collapsing universe might give birth to another, over and over, through mechanisms we only faintly understand. Some theories describe this as a cosmic bounce, where each collapse seeds a new expansion. Others imagine a vast multiverse, where our universe's birth was just a single spark among an infinite blaze. These hidden laws would operate with quiet persistence, indifferent to beginnings or ends. From the delicate fusion in a newborn star to the cataclysmic death throes of a supernova, each event would be part of an eternal chain. Links that stretch endlessly into the past and future. What feels to us like the drama of creation is in truth the steady heartbeat of a cosmos that has never skipped a beat. To grasp the scale of an eternal cosmos, we can look to its most extreme expressions. Imagine a black hole that has existed not for millions or billions of years, but for spans so vast they make the age of our universe seem like a flicker. Over these unimaginable durations, it would devour stars, warp the very fabric of space, and yet still remain a silent monument to the infinity of time. Or picture galaxies in collision, their spiral arms tearing and twisting in slow motion across hundreds of millions of years. In a finite universe, such events are rare milestones, but in an eternal one, they are simply recurring notes in an endless symphony, inevitable and unremarkable to the cosmos itself, yet breathtaking to any being who witnesses them. Even the most violent cosmic cataclysms would be little more than ripples in an infinite sea, destined to fade and return again. Then there are the grand cycles, expansion stretching space until galaxies grow dim and distant, followed by epochs where gravity gathers matter back together. These rhythms, if real, would have played out countless times before, shaping universes before ours and preparing universes yet to come. Each iteration may be unique in its details, yet all are bound by the same unchanging laws, written not in time's beginning, but into the very nature of existence itself. The notion of a universe without a beginning has echoed through the history of science, challenging and reshaping our understanding of reality. Ancient philosophers once imagined an eternal cosmos, uncreated and indestructible, its changes driven by cycles rather than a single origin. For millennia, this vision stood untested, a philosophical idea rather than a scientific one. It was only in the 20th century, with the advent of modern cosmology, that the Big Bang theory emerged to challenge it, offering observational evidence for a cosmic starting point. Yet even as the Big Bang became the dominant model, traces of the eternal idea lingered. Einstein himself once favored a static, eternal universe, though he abandoned it when confronted with Hubble's discovery of cosmic expansion. Later, scientists like Fred Hoyle proposed the steady-state model, where new matter constantly formed to maintain an unchanging universe. While evidence ultimately favored the Big Bang, these theories kept alive the tantalizing possibility that time stretches infinitely in both directions. Today, modern physics is again revisiting these questions. Quantum, cosmology, cyclic models, and multiverse theories hint at realities where the Big Bang is not the ultimate beginning, but part of a far larger structure, one that may have existed long before our visible cosmos took shape. In this light, the eternal cosmos theory is not an outdated relic, but a bold contender in the ongoing search to understand the true nature of reality. For humanity, the idea of an eternal universe is more than a scientific curiosity. It reshapes our sense of belonging in the cosmos. In a finite universe, we might imagine ourselves as latecomers to a grand story that began without us. But in an eternal one, we are participants in a drama with no opening act, inheritors of matter and energy that have been part of countless worlds before ours. Every breath we take, every drop of water, every atom of iron in our blood has cycled through stars, planets, and perhaps even other life forms across an infinity of ages. This perspective invites humility. We are not standing at the midpoint of time, nor are we special witnesses to a rare moment in cosmic history. Instead, we exist within a single scene in an endless performance, brief, fragile, and yet deeply connected to everything that has ever been. Our technology, our art, our struggles and achievements are all threads woven into a tapestry that will continue long after we are gone, just as it has long preceded us. And in this vastness, our search for meaning takes on a new dimension. If the universe has no beginning, then our existence is not the result of a single miraculous event, but of an eternal potential for life and consciousness to emerge wherever conditions allow. We are proof that the cosmos, given infinite time, can awaken, and perhaps will awaken again in forms and places we cannot yet imagine. If the eternal cosmos is real, its scale and potential are almost beyond human comprehension. Given infinite time, every possible arrangement of matter could occur, not once, but endlessly. Civilizations could rise and fall an infinite number of times. Stars could ignite and fade in every conceivable pattern, and entire galaxies could trace paths that have already been walked countless ages before. The universe would not just be vast in space, but in possibility itself. This means that somewhere, far beyond our reach, there could exist echoes of our own world, planets eerily similar to Earth, perhaps even histories that unfold in familiar ways. And just as these parallels exist, there may be realms of unimaginable strangeness, worlds without stars, oceans suspended in darkness, galaxies made of exotic matter we have yet to discover. In an eternal framework, the improbable is not only possible, it is inevitable. given enough time. The thought is both exhilarating and humbling. Our individual lives, our species, even our universe may be only temporary forms in an infinite cycle. Yet within that cycle lies the profound truth that nothing is ever truly lost. Matter, energy, and perhaps even the seeds of consciousness endure, transformed again and again by the unceasing rhythms of a cosmos without beginning. And so we arrive at the final turn, the place where science and philosophy intertwine. If the universe has no beginning, then it exists without needing a cause, standing outside the chain of why and when that governs our everyday thinking. It becomes a fact as fundamental as existence itself, a reality that simply is, without origin or destination. Such an idea defies the human instinct for stories with a first page and a last chapter, yet it may be closer to the truth than the comfort of a clear beginning. In this view, we are not witnesses to a fleeting moment between birth and death, but travelers in an eternal landscape. The stars above are not the dying embers of a long-ago fire, but the constant glow of a hearth that has always burned. Every photon of light, every wisp of cosmic dust, every heartbeat on Earth is part of an unbroken continuum that has no starting point to trace. Perhaps the most profound implication is this: in a universe without beginning, meaning is not found in its origin, but in our place within its infinite present. We stand inside a story that never started and will never end, our lives woven into a tapestry without edges. And as we look up into the endless night, we may realize that the greatest wonder is not how it all began, but that it never had to.